can't just go around calling people narcissists because they didn't act the way you wanted them to. Make sure you educate yourself and know what an actual narcissist is. I think the scariest, most hurtful thing about a narcissist is that they can convince themselves that they never actually cared about you. They get to use their magic potion and forget they ever cared for you or had feelings for you, but you are left with the memories, the heartbreak, and having to heal yourself from what you just went through. When a narcissist leaves you, it is the ultimate compliment because they learn that they can't control you. For whatever reason, you have enough strength in you to make it too hard for them to manipulate you. Hello, you. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, if you're not new, welcome the heck back. My name's Katrina. Well, you guys, I have put off this video for months because it has taken me that long to get to a place where I can finally talk about it. Moral of the story, someone did a real number on me, and now that I'm on the other side of it, you get the benefits of the insight I have from dating someone who I believe had some serious narcissistic tendencies. So let's start with the word narcissism or narcissist itself, okay? This is a very controversial word, triggering word, and just because someone disrespects you a couple times, is selfish a couple times, or doesn't return your feelings, that does not a narcissist make, okay? We are seeing and hearing this word a lot more lately, and I believe it's because we actually do have a lot more narcissists walking among our generation. What is the key ingredient to make a narcissist? A lack of emotional support in early childhood. How many of us come from broken homes? But that's a video for another day. Anyways, please be careful and intentional when using that word. For someone to have narcissistic personality disorder, or NPD, they have to meet a specific set of criteria. And there is a difference between NPD and someone who has narcissistic tendencies. Plus, we all, and I repeat all, have narcissistic traits, which could also be described as just selfish traits. But there's also a difference between narcissistic traits and narcissistic tendencies. And just like everything, there is a spectrum to people who have narcissistic tendencies. But I cannot stress enough, when it comes to the word narcissist or accusing someone of being a narcissist, you need to use that word very carefully so that the accusation can be taken seriously. Be sure to educate yourself on narcissism before claiming someone as such. Okay, let's dive into my experience with the person that I dated. So I dated them on and off for 4 months. And I know you could say, girl, that is so short. What are you pressed about? First of all, don't invalidate me, okay? Second of all, that's all it takes when you're dealing with somebody who is emotionally abusive. It doesn't take a long time. I'm not gonna waste too much time on the story because I'd rather not relive it. But what I do want to do is talk about a specific type of narcissism called covert narcissism, because that's what I believe the person that I dated, they exhibited symptoms of that. And hopefully, you know, if you have dated somebody and had a similar experience, maybe this can be like validating for you. If you're trying to move on from somebody who you believe had narcissistic or emotionally abusive tendencies, I have some great tips coming at the end of this video that can hopefully help you to move on and know that you're not alone in your confusion and you're like, what the hell just happened to me kind of feeling. I think you'll feel very validated after watching this. I'm really just gonna do like a comparison of the characteristics of covert narcissism and then give little examples of what I experienced when I was dating the person that I'm talking about. To explain covert narcissism, I'm gonna be heavily relying on an article I found called What is a Covert Narcissist by Jody Clark. So there's overt narcissism, which is like your idea of the classic narcissist who's like boastful and very proud. And then there's the overt narcissist who is more withdrawn, more obviously insecure and self-deprecating, but the end goal is the same. They have the same personality traits as the overt narcissist. They just come in a more obscure, subtle package. Okay, let's talk about those characteristics. So the first is passive self-importance. Covert narcissists are compliment fishers. They crave attention and praise, and they often minimize accomplishments so that they will be like praised in return. For example, let's say the person that I dated, this isn't true of them, but let's say that they were a painter, okay? And this is something similar that happened in their relationship. And they showed me painting one time and said like, oh, I don't really think it's that good. And I, being someone who's a total hype woman and wants to make everyone feel good, was like, are you joking? This is an amazing piece. Like, it's amazing. And then next thing you know, any time that they painted, they were texting me the pictures, and I would continue to give that same response, like, wow, amazing, incredible. And I thought that was interesting. Okay, next is blaming and shaming. Narcissists are so broken and damaged inside, and they feel so low that their quick fix to being elevated is unfortunately by putting others down. But with covert narcissists, they have this gentle approach to putting you down or pointing out your flaws, to where it's so like subtle and soft that you just start to believe that they're right. For example, when I was dating this person, they were pretty unkind to me, and I wanted a friend to hear how they spoke to me. So unknown to them, one time they called me, I put them on speaker for the friend to hear. And after the conversation, my friend literally was like, Katrina, word for word, he was like, they have a way of making it seem like everything is your fault, but they deliver it in a hug. And I was like, friend, that is spot on. Yes, you see why I feel crazy half the time. So next is one you're probably very familiar with if you've dealt with someone with narcissistic tendencies, creating confusion. This person was so good at this. Narcissists have to maintain a power over you. So when you start to catch on to their toxic behavior and they recognize that, they one-up you by trying to throw you off and making you feel like your perceptions are wrong about them. Covert narcissists, they do the same thing. The amount of times that I got lost in conversations with this person, their go-to was, what are you talking about? Like, they would throw that in the conversation so much, and it was enough to literally throw me off of my train of thought. And then plus, if deflecting was an Olympic sport, they had the gold twice over, because they would do it so much in conversations. I would be so frazzled, I would just lose my point every time. Next is procrastination and disregard. This was the biggest one for me in that dating situation. You know, when you care about someone and you're starting to get to know someone, you would think that you want to spend a lot of time with them. But this person kept me at such a distance the whole time and sent a lot of mixed signals. But I'm gonna read straight from the article about what it says, because it's just right on the money. Okay, so it says, rather than explicitly telling you that you're not important, they might stand you up on a date, wait until last minute to respond to texts or emails, always show up late, or never make confirmed plans at all. There is no regard for your time or interest, leaving you feeling small, unimportant, and irrelevant. When I tell you that they pulled this with me so much, I started having backup plans every time we would make a plan, because it was more likely that they would cancel than come through. And it really hurt, because like, I know hearing this, it's probably easy to say, why didn't you just like walk away from somebody who didn't give you the time of day? But I was caught up in the words that they were giving me. So yeah, they would cancel me all the time. Those were the actions, but the words were, I really care about you. I've never connected with anybody like I connect with you. They would always have such a good excuse for not showing up, and I would just give them chance after chance after chance, because it seemed like they cared. Next is giving with a goal. Covert narcissists are very charming and charismatic. They're the ones that you bring to your family, they fall in love with them, they have their friends fooled, they have your friends fooled, and you don't see that on the inside there is a selfish, self-serving goal for every single thing that they do. I'm not going to go into the several ways that I saw this in dating that person, but I saw it, and I see it now replaying things, because you know, hindsight is 20/20. And lastly, we have emotional neglect. You better start understanding now if you don't already. Narcissists are incapable of truly caring for anyone but themselves. When you date them, you serve a specific purpose at that time. And when you no longer serve, they discard you. Covert narcissists can come off as caring and kind and even emotionally intelligent, but like I remember when I asked this person what their strongest characteristic was, they said that it was empathy. And then I go through the relationship with them and it's like, where's the empathy? And I realized it's because people who have narcissistic tendencies can only exhibit something called cognitive empathy. Real, true empathy is being able to feel for someone else, to be able to put yourself in their shoes. Whereas cognitive empathy is a skill that is developed and it's strategic. And people with narcissism, because they are incapable of truly being able to care for somebody else, they have to teach themselves how empathy shows up, but they develop the skill to manipulate and control you. Like I remember, this isn't a true example because I can't remember what it was, but they want to make you feel comfortable so that you can share your weaknesses, and then eventually they can exploit them. And again, everything that I'm saying isn't like cookie cutter, right? There's a spectrum to things. Everything is different. I'm talking about what my experience is and then these specific traits that just happen to match up with my experience. So for example, I remember I told this person something very vulnerable about me. I can't remember what specifically it was, but let's just say I said, and this isn't true, let's just say I said, I feel uncomfortable in bikinis at parties. Let's say I said that, and it took a lot for me to share that, right? I remember one day they turned around and used what I had given them in a very hurtful way. So it was something like, oh, you're gonna go to a pool party today? Good luck not being insecure in your bikini. Just little jabs using my weaknesses and my vulnerabilities against me. I could say so much more about what this person did and how they had me feeling, and honestly, I planned to give more detail, but at this point, I don't want to put that person on blast because at the end of the day, as much as they hurt me, I believe that this person is so broken and damaged inside that much of what they did was second nature, involuntary, and they didn't do it maliciously. I don't really think they have control over the way that they treated me. I think that I was someone that they really did value and see as beautiful at one point. At one point is key. But because they're so broken, it actually let me explain it like this. It actually inspired me to write this. Some people can only break what is beautiful because they were never shown that they deserved it. So when they find it, their systems scream at them to destroy it. Try to forgive those people. I realized that the narcissist is also a victim of themselves, because imagine destroying every good thing that comes your way. It's like a Midas touch, but everything you touch breaks or gets ruined. And unfortunately, whatever trauma and pain that they've gone through, it's programmed them to act this way and preserve themselves and to sabotage and destroy every good thing in their path. I think the scariest, most hurtful thing about a narcissist is that they can convince themselves that they never actually cared about you. They can twist the story and make it into anything that they want and truly believe it. And this is something that you just have to accept. They get to use their magic potion and forget they ever cared for you or had feelings for you, but you are left with the memories, the heartbreak, and having to heal yourself from what you just went through. They often, very likely, will move on by moving on to someone else very quickly. That is exactly what happened in my case. Lucky me, I was replaced during the relationship, actually. So betrayed, low-key cheated on, and it sucks. But healing the standard way is much better. you walk away triumphant and they are just messy for somebody else. And this segues me into the moving on tips. I was broken by this person in a way that I've never felt broken before. And I think that's just the nature of being in an abusive cycle. A lot of the time we focus on what the other person walks away with. Oh, they were so talented. They were so good with my family. But we need to focus more on what we're walking away with and recognize that that person needs to go for a reason. And there's always going to be other talented people, other people who are good with your family. And there's no use keeping those few good traits when they're covered in a multitude of toxicity. When that person discarded me, it left me feeling like, what's wrong with me? Like, why did they treat me that way? Why was I not worth like sticking around for? But you have to recognize that when a narcissist leaves you, it is the ultimate compliment, because they learn that they can't control you for whatever reason. You have enough strength in you to make it too hard for them to manipulate you. So you take that as an award, honey. That is a trophy, a mental trophy that you get to keep. The narcissist didn't want to keep you around. Good job. And if you don't listen to anything else in this video, I need you to listen to this, okay? Your power is in not reaching out. When you're in a cycle with somebody, in an abusive cycle with someone, they're gonna leave you like addicted to them. And you're gonna wanna fix things, you're gonna wanna pull them back in when they show you their backs. Your power is in not reaching out. Don't give them the satisfaction of seeing your name pop up on their phone again. Don't give them the satisfaction of seeing your name pop up on their phone again. They love that. They live for that. And even if you're in a state with them, the maybe potentially narcissistic person, right, where they're like pushing and pulling with you and you're at a place where it's clear that they want you to come back to them, don't do it. just get out. Don't give them the satisfaction, even if they're chasing you. It's best you walk away. I cannot stress this enough. And then if you break and you do end up reaching out, you already know it's just going to end in chaos again. Give it a couple days, give it a couple months. It's going to end in chaos when you're dealing with somebody who exhibits narcissistic behavior. It will never not end in chaos and messiness. So walk away now. Let me tell you, that was my mantra in getting myself over this person, was my power is in not reaching out. And when you get to the other side of it, I can tell you, I'm so grateful that I didn't. I'm so grateful. I don't want to be another name in their mouth of like, oh, so-and-so still wants me. Because they would tell me those things. And like, I understand those girls now, where they were coming from and why they would always reach out to them, because they're addicting. But guess what? It's not me. I'm not one of those girls. And I'm very proud of myself. Something that I've learned is that healing is all about what works for you at that time. Emphasis on at that time. There's not going to be just one thing. There's not a cure-all. You've got to rally all the troops. And sometimes the troops contradict themselves. Like one day I could just need music to get me through, to feel. And then the next day I can't bear to hear another song or even music at all, because it hurts too much. Whatever your body or your soul feels like it needs to heal that day or that hour or that 7 minutes, do it. You have to treat your soul and body like a baby, kind of. Like when a baby's crying, you don't know what the hell it needs, but you just got to pull in everything. Okay, let's try the bottle. Let's try a toy. Let's try rocking. You just have to try everything that you can to get that baby to stop crying. And not to say that you shouldn't validate the pain and just let them cry because they want to cry. A good cry is sometimes all you need too. That in itself is healing. I always say listen to empowering songs. When it comes to getting over somebody who had you in an emotionally abusive cycle or exhibits narcissistic tendencies or is an actual narcissist, moving on from them can be extremely difficult, especially with covert narcissists, because as I mentioned, they seem like the empathetic, caring ones. Sometimes you'll think, like in my case, like, wow, we had so many emotionally intelligent seeming conversations, and we also came to so many understandings, and it felt like effective communication. But the key word there is it felt like. It's great to communicate effectively with non-narcs, but even narcs can exhibit a kind of effective communication with you. They can seem like they're communicating even in a healthy way, but again, that is a tactic. And unlike somebody who is not a narcissist, who is a secure person, the narcissist or the abuser will use that against you in the future. Mark my words. They are master manipulators, and I don't even think they recognize the power that they have over people. They're like cyborgs, I swear. It's sad, but true. I actually have a really sad example of this, of one of the final times that we had set up a plan and they canceled it on me again. And this was a voice memo that I left. And I'm showing you this so you can see like how real it is when you're in the moment. And then also you can see me now that I'm on the other side of this, and I'm so grateful, but I haven't played this in a while, so let's see.
I don't think you understand, but like I value a lot of time with the person that I care about, and like when I'm not getting reassurance, I just feel like they don't care. And like yesterday, you barely texted me at all. I knew something was gonna like you. Like texting is all we have, and you barely even message me at all. I just feel like you really don't. I don't know why you feel about me, but it's not care. Like, I feel like I just feel.
I'm so glad to be on the other side of that now. I feel like I could give so many more tips. I think I need to do a separate video on just tips to get over somebody who is emotionally abusive or who has narcissistic tendencies, because they're such tricky people and such hard relationships to move on from. But this is what I'm going to leave you with for now, because I feel like this video is eons long. And let me know if you'd like more tips like this, and I'll go ahead and make another video. But just stay strong, don't reach out again, walk away, recognize that narcissists cannot care about you in the way that you could care about others, okay? The relationship, it's not worth it, and you're walking away or being walked away from something that was never going to benefit you. And just recognize that. I now accept that. It's taken me so long, but I accept that that person, they didn't really care about me. And at first my body and my heart was so mad at that and was refusing to accept that. No, it couldn't be, and make excuses, for their behavior. But now I'm a lot more peace, because I've accepted that they weren't capable of caring about me. And that's okay. And I still am walking away with my good heart. And it's funny, because in that relationship, they made me feel like I was the toxic one. And it's interesting, because ever since then, I've talked to people, I've dated people, and I don't have any issues. So was I the problem? I don't think so. But when you're in that, they make you feel it, and it seems that way. Yeah. And it's okay if you take a long time to get over someone. That's something that I've recognized about myself, is maybe I take a little bit longer than the average person to get over somebody, especially when you've been put through a cycle of abuse with someone. But I can genuinely say, now that I'm on the other side of it, like finally, I feel color coming back into my life again, and I'm able to do the things that I'm passionate about, and I feel happy. I'm still just gonna focus on myself for a while, and it feels so, so good. And so you can get to this place too, because trust me, I was in a pit. I was in a deep, dark pit, and it took time, and it took actively working on moving forward. And I'm here, and it's great now. And it may even feel like no one can compare to that person for a while, as much of a monster as they were. Just be compassionate and patient with yourself. And you know, if you formed an attachment with somebody, no matter how bad they were, attachments take a lot of work to cut. So just take time, give other people a chance, and eventually you're gonna find a connection that's way, 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 way better. Yeah, that's really all I have to say about that for now. But thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you're having a great time wherever you may be, and I hope that you'll see me again in another video soon. Your power is in not reaching out.